Well, how's it going, guys? Good to see yous. So yeah, this is the first live stream for me since Steamtown, and man, I'm still fired up from it. I still watching everybody's videos. You know, Sparky just did the dining car video. I believe it was last night. I watched it, and I wrote on there, man, I want to go back. So yeah, speaking of Steamtown, check it out, guys. I got my Indian Head Valley Railroad shirt on that I got from Wilmer. I also have my koozie going here with the Not Bad and the Indian Head Valley Railroad on there. So thanks again, Wilmer, for that. Actually, I don't think I've seen Wilmer on there yet. So anyways, yeah, it's really good to see you guys. Let's get this stuff off of here. And let's go on into the chat room and say hello. Hastings Anthony, how's it going, man? Good to see you on here. You forgot that today was Tuesday. That's hilarious. Hey, John Skillhill, how are you, sir? And there's Nancy. How's it going, Nancy? So I'm going to talk about the raffle in a little minute here. Vinny, so good to see you. There's John Model Railer. I might tell that story about you later. I don't know. We'll see. Hi, Nathan. How you doing, buddy? So Nathan, I got to hang out with Nathan on the trolley ride in Steamtown, and it was so awesome. Nathan is an encyclopedia as well of knowledge. And there's Jeff Allen. How you doing, Jeff? Good to see you. I haven't seen you on here in a while. And there's CSX Girl. Nice to see you. And there's Sparky. And Sparky said he has his shirt on too. That's awesome. Hey, Chasco. Good to see you, sir. Awesome. It's good to see you guys all in here this evening. I've got a pretty big show to go through tonight, and I'm kind of winging it as I go through. So you know, bear with me. But before we start, I'm just going to do a few shout outs. So as we know, if you guys watched my mail call shout outs and updates last night, I brought up Nancy Jones. So Nancy is so awesome. Hey, Toyman, I don't think I've ever seen you on here, so it's so good to see you, Ron. Thanks for coming, man. And there's Dave Piper. Hi, Dave. So anyways, Nancy, really cool girl, really cool channel. And what happened, she's recently had bone marrow transplant surgery. It's really knocked her down, and I'm sure it would have cost a fortune, and I'm sure she's not working right now. So I believe it was GAFA that started it. GAFA is going to do a raffle draw. And so what has happened, people are donating prizes. And for example, we have Randy of RD&T. Randy's donated a really cool N-scale diorama that he put together. So if you guys watched my show that I put out last night, about a couple months ago, I went and met Sparky, and I got my train set that I won from him for the shout out video to the Sparky live stream. And here it is right here. And I'm telling you, it is so cool. It's really got me almost wanting to model modern again. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's pretty cool. I believe that's a GP30, GP38 or something. You experts would know, 38-2. And then it's got a tank car, boxcar, gondola with a load in there. Really, really cool set. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw that into the raffle for Nancy. So what you do, you go to the link. The link is also in the description. You go on there. It's really easy. It's only $5 to enter the raffle. And then when you do it, just put in the description or in the note, put raffle, so they know that you want to be entered into the draw. And I believe it's June 16th that the draw is going to happen for that. Okay, so that's everything for now for Nancy. Somebody else I wanted to talk about was Tyadotton Valley Railroad and Coal Company. I did him on the shout out last night, but something I forgot to mention is that he's doing a new live stream. I believe it's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. And that is on Monday nights. Nate's a really cool guy, encyclopedia of knowledge. Like I said, he's gone back and forth on my channel, and he's given me lots of tips and advice. Really smart guy, and I believe he's calling it Narrow-Minded Monday. I think that's what I saw that on, I think it was Sparky's chat. And what that is, people were confused by it, but what it is, he's a narrow gauge modeler. So I don't know if he does ON30 or what he does, but he's a narrow gauge modeler, and that's what that's about, Narrow-Minded Monday. So be sure to check into that. another thing is Roy Hartwick, Container Man 68. I believe he's got a contest going on right now. If anybody wants to throw that up right now, that would be great for Container Man. Oh, Container Man's on here. So yeah, Container Man, if you could just throw up a link to your channel if you want, or if Sparky could. I believe he has a contest that's happening right now, so I thought that was pretty cool. So that's about all I have for updates. So Sparky's saying on there, it is a GP38-2. I thought that's what it was, but I wasn't 100%. So, Sister Donna Redneck, nice to meet you on here. Thanks for coming over. It is an awesome train set. It's really cool. So I've opened it. It has the Bachmann gray Easy Track, and the difference between the gray and the black, because I had the black before just for messing around. The gray has the actual nickel silver rail, which is way better, stays way cleaner, conducts electricity way better. So it's a really, really nice set. Comes with a transformer and everything, so it's a really good prize. So be sure you get in on that raffle for Nancy. And Roy's confirmed it. He does have the contest right now. And here is the link for Roy. He just put it up right there. That's his channel right there. I'm sure you guys all know Roy anyways, but yeah. So I'm just gonna knock this music back a bit. So I'm just seeing what you guys are saying on here. Thanks, Sparky, for throwing that up there. That's the new contest and rules. I saw that today come up, so yes. So what I want to talk about today, guys, is modeling paperwork. And this is quite an extensive, a lot of stuff to go through here. So just bear with me, like I said, and I'll try to make sense of it all, explaining everything. So what I want to start with, I didn't come up with this idea. I didn't make this up by any means. I got this idea from a guy named Trevor Marshall. And Trevor has a website called the Model Railway Show. It's a really good blog, and that's where I first found this. And I'm pretty sure I found him just by searching CNR Steam photos. He's got some really amazing modeling, so check it out. He's also got some videos on YouTube. You just check out Trevor Marshall, and you'll find him. Hey there, Nora. How's it going, buddy? Thanks for coming on here. And Nora, if you want, you could also put up the link for Nancy's PayPal if you would like. It's also in the description, as I said below. Hey, and there's Nate tied out in Valley. I was just talking about you, Nate. Your ears must have been burning. I was just talking about your new live stream. So yeah, so check him out. Now he's also part of the what's it called? I want to say the MRH magazine. He's part of that. He's one of the hosts on there. So once you see him on his channel, you'll recognize him when you see his face. Amazing modeler. He's an S-scale guy, but he came up with this amazing idea of, I guess you'd call it a car forwarding system. So as you guys know, me all along, I always used ShipIt, which is a computer-based software. Basically just gives you a switch list. There was a problem with this. It worked great on the switching layout. You would have staging, it would build your trains, you'd bring them in. It was random, it was nice random loads, all that. But when I started designing it for the new railroad, the software was having a lot of problems. It was getting mixed up, and you know, there's all kinds of things that could cause this. You know, consignee, the shipper, is the train going there, the time the train's going there. There's all kinds of things, but the biggest problem is the interchange. I have the interchange that goes to Wyerton, and that was just screwing it up. It would send one car and one car only, and just keep it like that. Little off topic, I was just gonna grab a drink here. Another little Steamtown plug. Do you guys know what that is? Dunder Mifflin. So if you saw my Steam show video, one of our Mel and I's favorite shows is The Office, and Dunder Mifflin is the paper company that they work at, and it's based out of Scranton. So we were kind of sad to look up. There's only a couple little things that were actually shot in Scranton. The only thing really was the mall, and there's a couple, you know, restaurants that were shot on it, but very brief. Everything in the office and everything, all that outside, it's all done in a studio, I believe in LA. So, but anyways, I got a really cool souvenir, my Dunder Mifflin mug. So anyways, where was I? Ship It. So Ship It, like I said, it's a computer generated software for doing switch lists. And there's another one that JMRI does. I have JMRI. I haven't used it, but it's very similar. You load everything in there. You load your industries, you load your towns, you load your trains, you load all your rolling stock. Another issue was I found the computer generated software wasn't really flexible. And by that, what I mean, I want certain cars to do certain things, or I want them to do one thing but not another. Perfect example of this is a CNR boxcar or a CPR boxcar. I always want them to be able to ship grain, but I want them to ship something else. But I don't want other boxcars of other roads shipping grain at the grain elevators in Owen Sound, if that makes sense. This was really hard to do on the computer. I'm sure it could have been done, but it really wasn't happening. So I started researching, and I really liked the looks of car cards. I thought this was a really cool system. It took me a while to figure it out. And it's funny, like when you model for a long time, but when you look at something new, it takes a bit for it to kind of click. And for some reason it did, but finally I got it and I understood it. And I thought that was a really cool idea. So this system is very similar to car cards. And like I said, it was invented by another guy. He has a Southern Pacific Railroad. But I can't remember the name of his channel, but he kind of came up with the idea, and then Trevor Marshall took it to a whole new level. So I'm just looking at you guys here. Nora. There you go, Sparky. Nora is a moderator. I was thinking of doing that anyways, because Nora, you do such a good job on everybody's channels. Hey, Wilmer. I just saw you there. I was yapping there and I just peeked over. Did you see my shirt, Wilmer? And I got my koozie. That's what we call it. That's what I've been told they're called, a koozie. And don't worry, that's sparkling water. It's not beer. Mind you, I have drank some beer out of it, and it seems to work pretty good. Hey, Sparky, so now that the chat's behind, okay, there we go. So Nora's gone through. It's just because the chat's a little bit behind. I don't think Sparky saw that he was made a moderator, so we're all good now. So anyways, this is what happened. Trevor designed this really cool system using prototypical waybills. And this is what they look like. Hope you guys can see that. Now on his, he made it look like a typewriter, filled out all the information, which is really cool, but I found that a pain to do. And I have a lot of waybills that I've bought off eBay and stuff for my collection, and a lot of them are handwritten. So what I'm gonna do is show you how that's done in a little bit. So anyways, let's get on with it. Let's start with the waybills and how they work. So here's the waybill. And so what happens on here, you have the shipper and you have the consignee. And so really all you need is the consignee. That's the person or the business or company that is receiving the car. So great. Trevor made up a whole bunch of these waybills, and it has everything on it. It has your car initial, it has the load, all kinds of stuff that you can put on there. But there's a problem. There's only one move. If you really think about it, you have this, okay, we'll go to wherever we're going that's on the waybill, but that's it. Well, then Trevor found another piece of paperwork that he decided to add to it. And I thought this, now I'm pretty sure Trevor invented this, so if any of those guys see this, they can correct me if I'm wrong. But Trevor found a piece of paperwork called the empty car bill. Okay. So this, as you can see, it has a spot here for your car to send home, so that could go back to staging or a yard somewhere. And it also has a spot for loading. And that's what I'm gonna be using more, is for loading. It's to send an empty car somewhere to load it. Then it will turn into the waybill, which gets shipped somewhere. But there's another problem. And this is where I came in, and this is where I had to think outside of the boxcar. My issue was with car cards, you get 4 moves. With this, you really only get 2. You can maybe, you know, jimmy rig it a little bit to change it up, but I didn't like that. So what I did, took me a long time to do it, I found out a way to take this, and we almost need a drum roll. I made them double-sided. Now the hardest part about this, I just made these on Excel, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But the hardest part was lining it up so that you could cut them, because the way I have done it is I print it in landscape format, so I can get 2 out of 1 sheet. Now a lot of people make these a lot smaller, but I wanted to make them a little bit bigger and a little bit more prototypical size, so you could see it and write on it and mess around with it and add stuff if you want or whatever. So yeah, that's how it looks. There we go. So anyways, that's how they print. So let's just go back into chat here. So Container Man's talking about barcodes. So Container Man, a wipe off car card, that's actually a really cool idea. I like that, because that's the one drawback with this, is that once you have the waybill made, you're kind of stuck with it, and that load basically stays with that card. So it changes up when you flip it over, but you still have kind of a pattern happening there. So what I am doing with my railroad is there is blank waybills where folks can, especially the agent, if he needs to move something somewhere, he can add a waybill and do it like that. So anyways, let's get back to it. They're double-sided. They represent a car. So the other problem that Trevor had was he had them kind of separate. All I'm doing is you go like this. I went to Walmart, got some paper clips. Boom. Now that is a car. That represents one car on your railroad. 2 pieces of paper, double-sided pieces of paper. This goes with the conductor. When that's done, when he gets all of his cars, he then gets a clip, and he will clip his waybills together with one of these. That represents the train, and then that can go on your clipboard, which I have right here. Okay, so what I wanted to do with you guys tonight, I'm just gonna see what you guys are saying on here. Thanks, Nora, for doing that, for Nancy throwing that up there. Hey, and John Dilly made it. John, I was so excited to meet you at Steamtown. You know, I'm a big fan, and it was so cool to see you. And I didn't get to talk to you a whole lot. You were really busy with your grandson, but yeah, it was really cool to see you there. It was really awesome. So what we're gonna do with these waybills, as you guys saw, I got these really cool gifts from Wilmer. I've got this B&O boxcar and the Chicago and Northwestern boxcar. So what I would like to do with you guys is kind of show you how I've been making these waybills, and we're together going to make the first official waybills for the OS CNR. We're going to do this together. So what I've got here, here's the first one. There it is there, Chicago and Northwestern. And even these numbers, all I do is I just go on Google and search the railroad and a prototypical waybill, and so it pretty well looks, it's very similar. They're all very similar, but all these numbers are different with each railway, and these are actually realistic to the railway. So that's 131 is Chicago Northwestern. Baltimore and Ohio is 50. So now I'll mess around with the fonts a bit and kind of make them look a little bit different. Hey, Andy. How's it going, Andy? It's good to see you, man. So Andy, I believe you know Trevor Marshall, right? Because you knew about his system, his car forwarding system and everything. So that's basic. I don't know if you were in here all along, but that's what this is based on, is Trevor's system. So anyways, let's get back to it. And what I'm going to do first, guys, I'm just going to show you what this looks like on Excel. So it's an Excel spreadsheet. And basically this is what it looks like. Now what Trevor does to make his look like a typewriter, you can use your arrows and move around, and he types his in like a Times New Roman format and puts his information in. But like I said, I'm gonna handwrite mine. I kind of like that look better. But I mean, you could mix it up. You could type them, or you could do one typed, one handwritten. It doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. Something else that people don't know about is this down here. This is called Sheets. This little tab, you just right click. You could add these. These are called Sheets. And so what I've done, I've got different railroads. So that's the empty car bill, which you guys already saw. But here's the B&O for Wilmer's car, C&W. I've also already got CPR on here. And here's Southern Pacific, because I got a few Southern Pacific cars. And I've got to add a whole bunch more. Now, what I was going to say to you guys is, if anyone is interested in this, if you have Excel, Microsoft Office and Excel, just email me, boxcarbenny@creativerails.com, and I can send you this. And then let me know what roads you want on it. Let me know what your home road is, and I'll custom do it for you. Or I could just send it to you as it is. But the reason why I'm saying is I can set it up for you, because for some reason when you add a sheet, it copies and pastes everything over to the next sheet, but for some reason it doesn't copy and paste the formatting. And I've tried it a few different ways. I'm not really good with Excel. I mean, somebody maybe knows how to do it. But a perfect example is the columns have to be exactly 7.71. And then you need the margin set at 0. So that's the thing. If anybody wants it, it's not that hard, but it is a little bit time consuming to do it. And he's saying there's a bunch of different systems out there. That's why car cards and waybills drives me crazy. There's better options. I like what you're showing here. This solution is good. Well, thanks, Andy. I gotta say, like, it's very similar to car cards and waybills, but what I like about this is it's a little bit more flexible. So what I'm doing is I have set waybills, but then if the agent wants, or the conductor wants, more the agent, if something needs to move, they can grab a blank waybill and write something up and make that move. And it adds a little bit of fun to it, right? There's also spots on here for weighing the cars. If you want to weigh, you can write it on there with pencil. You know, it's up to you guys what you want to do. So what I'm going to do something that I said I would never do. I never said I'd be doing that, showing like a how-to or doing stuff live. But since I wanted you guys to be part of this, I'm just going to show you how simple it is. I've got two. I'm going to cut these here at once. So I just cut down the middle line. Okay. So there's one. And then I cut about, you guys can see that, I cut about 1/8 of an inch past the top line. And it'd be probably better to use like a ruler and a X-Acto blade, but I mean, it's not a big deal. Okay, so there we go. We've got two brand new waybills, one for Baltimore and Ohio, and one for Chicago and Northwestern. So let's start. I gotta be honest, my favorite car here is this puppy right here, the Baltimore and Ohio car. I think this is so cool. And like I said, if you guys missed it, this was a gift from Wilmer. And I believe this is called Queen Truss Post. Is that right, guys? You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I love that look. I have a few old timers with those. Randy, are you shopping right now? Randy's saying it's hard to type and push a Walmart cart around without running into people. That's funny. Cool. Okay, so here we go, guys. Here is the car. What I'm gonna do now, it's kind of hard. This camera's not very good, but I'm gonna bring this up closer so you guys can see. So I'm right here. So here it is, folks. Let's fill it out. Car initials B&O, and the number is 57440. Now I hope you guys can see that. I know it's kind of, you can kind of see it. The light's really bright. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this over here. Oh no, I just dropped my car. It's okay. Stay. Okay. Okay. So what I want to do here is this car is definitely going to go to Owen Sound. And the province is Ontario. And the consignee, I'm going to send it to, because this car I think would look really cool at the Marine Freight Shed. Okay, so that's the consignee and address. I kind of mixed that up. I should have put that down here. But what this is, the Marine and Freight Shed, I told you guys about Owen Sound a while ago. That was a place where they would transfer freight off the trains onto the boats. And it would go to Manitoulin Island. So anything could really go up there. So what I would like to know from you guys, what kind of merchandise, anything you want, what would go to Northern Ontario, Manitoulin Island, from the Baltimore and Ohio? If you guys could comment on there and tell me where it's coming from, who the shipper is, how it's getting here, and what roads would take it up. So I don't know if you guys can see here. Right here you have additional routing. So basically it would start with B&O, and you could add different railroads that you think it would go through. So we're just going to say B&O, and it's going to end with CN. So I'm just seeing if you guys are saying anything. Sparky's saying he has to refill his koozie. And I'm getting nothing from anybody. Anything. You can make it up if you want. It doesn't matter. I just need something. Like I said, this is going to be an official... they had a paper mill. Okay. Tell me more. Carver, are we shipping reams of paper to Northern Ontario? Or boxes of paper? I'm reading your comments, Andy. Like a massive transformer that requires a special crane. Okay. Anyways, I like that. We're gonna put that right down here. So packages, we're gonna say, let's just make it up 150. Boxes of paper. Does anybody know where the paper mills were? Carver's saying he doesn't know. Guys, this is an official waybill going on my railroad. I'm looking at you, Containerman. You're saying about a massive transformer. That's going to be one of my extras. I have a depressed flat car with a transformer. Yeah, I think it's that Bachmann one, but I'm modeling it up and weathering it and everything, and it's going to be an extra that's going to run on there. Okay. Okay, but this is specific to this car, so this boxcar. What is this boxcar carrying? So Carver said there was paper mills. I hope you meant coming from the B&O, like Baltimore, somewhere in Ohio. All right. So this isn't working right yet, but anyways, let's just say, let's leave it at that. This car comes in, then it's got to make another move. So what I'm going to say is in Owen Sound, there is an RCA plant. It's an RCA cabinet building plant, and they basically made the cabinets for televisions, and then they would ship them off. So now what I'm going to do, basically this car comes in from staging, it goes to the freight and marine shed, unloads there. Then it's going to be, technically, a lot of the time this wouldn't happen, but in my situation, since this car is going back to the States and back through that area, this could work. What it's going to do, it's going to go to the RCA plant. So the shipper is RCA Victor. And we'll just fill this out right here. And there's all kinds of things here. You could sign your name as the agent and all that, but we can just leave it as simple as that. We've got it going to the RCA Victor plant in Owen Sound to be loaded. So then we could flip this over, and now we can send this down to the States. And this is technically staging, like staging is Palmerston, but that's what we're going to do. So this is what I found out is they would make the cabinets at the RCA plant, and then they would ship them to Indiana, and they would actually go to Indianapolis and Indiana. So what I'm going to do is right on here, station Indianapolis, Indiana. The consignee is going to be RCA Victor. The consignee is basically the customer. And the route, we'll just say, you know, we could even make that up. We're going to start with CN. Let's say we're going to go on Wabash. And then it's going to go to B&O. And I don't know. I looked at some maps. I believe the B&O went to Indianapolis, but I'm not 100% sure. But I mean, it's your railroad. You can do whatever you want. And then where it's coming from, as we know, it's coming from Owen Sound. And the shipper again is still RCA. And then we could put down here, let's say we've got 100 packages, television frames or television cabinets. And then you could put in the weights or whatever you want. So there you have it. There's 3 moves. Then you can make another empty to send it somewhere else. From there, I'm just going to leave that there. Just like that, that waybill is ready. Now, what I would like to happen is basically the agent will be in charge of what order everything happens in. So basically, this is handed to the conductor, okay? This is handed to the conductor. However this is facing the conductor, that's how he gets it. If it's the other way around or whatever, that's how it is. I want the agent to be in charge of that. So, when these waybills are in Palmerston in staging, here is my fancy dancy thingamajig. Look at this. This is some high-tech stuff here, guys. This is going to keep the waybills in staging. So it's just a file folder. And each file I've got labeled just by the car type. So the first one here is Boxcar. This will go in here with boxcars. I got tank cars, flat cars. So basically that's how it happens. Now when I showed you guys that number generator system, this is how a train would start from staging. So you take your number generator like you saw, and you're going to decide how many cars are going to be in your train. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, in our train, oh, we only have 2 cars. Okay, then I'm going to change this from 1 to 8. I'm going to hit it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have a train building sheet that I've come up with. It's right here. It's quite simple. It says everything on there. So you have your train number, your engine number, the max cars the train's going to pull, the cars called, so that's the number of cars called, and then you just put in order the car type. So our first one is number 5. Number 5 is a tank car. So in your first row there, car type, you put TM. Then our next car, number 5 again, so TM. So 2 tank cars. Let's call it, let's say it's just the way freight going in. There you go. Your train is ready. 2 tank cars. What you do, you grab the file folder, go to the tank car section, you grab the first 2 tank car waybills. Doesn't matter what road they are, doesn't matter where they're going, doesn't matter anything. They go on the train, the waybill tells you where they're going and what they're doing. Okay, so that's, I hope that makes sense for the waybill aspect. I know it's a little bit confusing. I'm gonna do an uploaded video on it so you can see it better and how it all works. But that's the first part of it. The other part from it is it gets really cool. Now, since I don't have a massive railroad, something else that Trevor developed was more paperwork. So there's all kinds of other things that can happen. Okay, so give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna see what you guys are saying on here. So Sparky said that box is very expensive, comes with Indian. Oh yeah, to show you guys that. That's right, I found a use for Wilmer's sticker. There you go, Wilmer. There's another shout out for you. And I got that, guys, I got that thing at Walmart for, I think it was $9. So it's very inexpensive. Okay, so Trevor Marshall came up with all kinds of other paperwork, things to do. Now, I'm really thinking this is, if you're an N scaler running like massive intermodal trains, like massive unit trains with like 50 cars, this might not be for you because handling a bundle of these might be a pain, but give it a try if you want. But for somebody like me, running about max 10 cars, around that, you know, it's actually perfect. Vinny's saying he almost bought the same box. And Wilmer likes the handy dandy thingy design. Yes. and so, okay, so Andy's saying, I've seen folks use multi-side dice like the table gamers use to roll for random choices in operation system. And that's the funny thing, Andy. It even has the old one I have, the train building sheet. It was for that. I actually bought dice, I think just off eBay or something. And that's how I came up with the random generator thing off just the cell phone. I don't know why I thought of that, but I thought that would work pretty well the same. And it's nice because you can kind of adjust it and it's a little bit more flexible. So we've got our train ready. We've got an engine. Let's say we've got our 2 tank cars. We got our pile of waybills. First things first, the conductor. There's 2 things that are going to happen. The crew is made up of 2 people, a conductor and the engineer. The engineer is going to be responsible for doing the brake test. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the engineer is going to be doing the brake test, yes. The conductor has things to do. First thing he's got to do is call in for his clearance from the dispatcher. So this is gonna show you guys why my railroad's taking so long to get going. It's all the base wiring for this. I have telephone lines going to my dispatcher's area. I have telephone lines going to the agent's desk in Owen Sound. There's a telephone line that I still have to, well, it's going to run under the layout, but it's got to go to the Terra location and the Shallow Lake location. So they'll call in to the dispatcher, and they're going to be all old phones. There'll be new phones, but those ones that look old. So they basically call in dispatcher, and they go back and forth. We'll do this on a separate video so it makes more sense, but basically the date, the station, the train, and then you have your orders. Your orders are right here, and the dispatcher is going to also do this. So I believe they would do this first, tell them the order, and then they're going to go through the orders and fill out these. Form 19, and I've got a Form 31. Now, if you're on the fly, Form 31, you need to stop for. So this is something, if there's a semaphore at the station, or like on mine, like a stop turning lantern, you need to stop, and the whole crew would need to sign off on this. You can see it's got different people at the bottom. The conductor needs to sign, the engine man needs to sign, the operator, and it has to be, it's a very serious. So it's probably, I would say this would be, and you guys can add to this if you like, this would be to do, you know, something more serious, like a meet with an extra, right? Nobody would know that extra was on there, so that's quite serious. It could be a major accident. Form 19 is a form that can be hooped up. So it'd be sent to the agent fills it out, and then he would give this to the crew. But this form apparently could be hooped up to the crew on the fly. They don't have to stop for that. But it's just kind of cool, all the paperwork that you can do. So, getting back to the train crew, the conductor has his thing of waybills. Something else he's going to be given is this. This is a switch list, and this is an actual switch list that I found on Google. It was a picture of one. I brought the picture into Microsoft Word and just bumped up the resolution and printed it out. That's all it is. So that's a real Canadian National from that time switch list. So the conductor can take those waybills and put his cars onto the switch list to make it easier for him to direct the crew of what they're doing. So basically you just have car initials and numbers, where the car is standing, and to be placed at, and it's got the date and the year on there. Very, very simple, but really, really cool. A little bit off topic. Now you guys, I showed this on my my desk video, but this wasn't something, all this was from Trevor. Now Trevor made his own switch list. I found the one, but still his idea. But this was something I found just kind of messing around when I was looking for paperwork. It's a bad order card for cars. So I was saying earlier, we're going to talk about brake tests. So the engineer, what he has to do a brake test, and this is going to be all in his employee timetable handbook, which I'll show you guys in a second. The bad order card will happen in this situation. So the engineer will be expected to do the brake test, and basically it's just some simple things, like simple sounds on the locomotive. So he'll blow the air, he'll check the headlight, he'll check the tail light, he'll check the number board lights, stuff like that. Maybe bump the train, maybe rev the train, whatever. We'll see. It depends on the engine, and it'll be all on there. But then he's going to be required to do the check of the train for deficiencies. And this is something I learned from Ron Marsh. So what will happen is the engineer will get this pile of cards. Like I said, this idea came from Ron Marsh, so it's pretty cool. So this one, as you can see, it says your train is free from deficiencies and mechanical failures. You're clear to proceed. So basically, shuffle the cards up, fan them out, pick one. But in here, let's say here's one. I've got 100 cards, 10 of them are deficiencies. So you have a 10% chance of getting a deficiency. So this is really going to only happen when you're leaving Owen Sound, because there's not a repair and place track in Palmerston. Maybe we'll do it in Palmerston, but probably only Owen Sound. So anyways, here's one right here. You picked this card, or let's say hypothetically you picked this card. It says third car back from locomotive has a broken coupler. Cut car from train and move to repair and place track. So that car would have to be cut from the train. Now, in this case, we only have 2 cars, so it means nothing happens. But if we did have 3 cars or more, third car would have to get cut off. Then this form would have to get filled out. And everything's on there. It's got the card number, what's wrong with it, what's going on. And the card says on there already, it's got a bad coupler, so fill that all out. This would get attached to the card, to the waybill. So there's your, sorry, that's the switch list. There's your waybill. That would get attached to that. Okay. And then that would get placed into the waybill box, which I haven't told you guys about yet. But that's a whole other aspect as well. But that would get placed into the waybill box, and it would stay there basically until the next operating session would get moved, and then that car would be back into service. A little bit more about these cards. All I did is I went to Walmart once again. I bought a pack of business cards and just drew these up. I believe on the template was for Microsoft Word, and that's how they look. So you can make them look however you want. Okay, so guys, I think what I'm gonna do, we're at 7:46. I'll talk a little bit about the waybill box. Now I wanted to make a waybill box and show you guys, but I got rained out at work and I'm a little bit behind at work, so I didn't get a chance to do one, but I want to throw one together. Trevor Marshall, if you go on his website, I'll show it right here again. He's made one. Mine's gonna be slightly different, and I want to paint mine red. Basically, there'll be a waybill box in Owen Sound. There'll be a waybill box for Shallow Lake. There'll be a waybill box basically for each station. When you're done the move for that car, when the car has finally done that move, right? So that waybill is fulfilled, the instructions, the waybill goes into the waybill box, and it's got a lock on it. It stays there. That car stays there. The only time it'll get moved again, most likely not until the next operating session, unless the agent, and this is where the agent comes in, and where I was talking about there's a lot of jobs on this railroad for people to do. The agent does have authority. If he wants to pull it out, he can open the waybill box and move it, switch it around, and give it to the next crew. So let's say the next way freight that's going northbound. So that's how it works. In the towns and on the railway, the waybills will be staying in the waybill boxes, but when we are in staging, the waybills stay in the file folder that I showed you guys. And that's basically how it works. So I hope that makes sense. I hope I didn't bore you guys. Like I said, I'll do lots of videos as we get going, and as the railroad gets built and I start utilizing this, I'll break it down and make it make more sense. But I just wanted to show you guys the paperwork and how they look and how it's working. So let's I'm gonna call it that. I'm gonna go back into the chat room. Okay, and there's Nora again for Nancy's raffle. If you guys, I hope you guys know about that. Once again, we're doing a raffle for Nancy. There's lots of cool prizes, including this amazing train set, which was donated from Sparky to me, and now from me to this. So we'll say it's from both of us. It's from Sparky too, because Sparky, I can't believe the amount of money he spent on that. That's such a generous gift that he did there. All right, and there's Gaffa there, and Gaffa's the one that is kind of taking care of all that. So go on over to his channel and check it out. And I believe it's June 16th. Gaffa, if you want to throw that on there, I believe you guys are doing the draw. So there's different prizes. Again, go to Nancy's PayPal account. It's $5 to enter the raffle. And when you enter the raffle, make sure you put raffle so they know it's just not a donation. Okay? Cool. So Andy's saying, but I like collaborating, so I want to loop other operators in and have a collab roundtable discussion about operating, like big picture. Andy's saying he loves, what a coincidence, he loves prizes and free stuff. So yeah, Andy, like I said, go check out the links in the description, and Nora on there has been putting the link as well. It's Nancy's PayPal account. Nate's planning on using timetable and time order, and that's another aspect, and I totally forgot to show you guys that, Nathan. I do have the timetable written up, and I have the fast clock working. So as I get the railroad built, I'll have to work on that, but I kind of ran out of time here. Basically, I've remade the original book. Again, idea from Trevor Marshall. I did not come up with that idea, but it's basically a small book. It's about this size, so it's a micro book, and I basically made everything this size, so when the conductor gets his package, he will get his switch list, he'll get a stack of waybills, he has to have his clearance form, and then any orders if he has them. I'm making it so they all kind of pack together like that. Then he can take them and put them on his clipboard, and he's good to go. And around the railroad, there's plenty of space. There's the Owen Sound. It's actually a big desk to work on, and then I'll have little work tables for the conductor to actually sit down, because it's going to be like the real thing. The conductor will really need to sit down. It'll be interesting the first few operating sessions we do, because I don't even know exactly what's going on, so it'll be kind of cool to see how it all works out. But the conductor will be really busy doing it. It's going to be pretty interesting and pretty cool. Andy's saying, I think everyone or nearly everyone should use a fast clock with a timetable. The train order part is not for the faint of heart, but if you like more challenging games, you're likely to enjoy it. And I agree, Andy. And you know, a lot of people, when I brought up the fast clock before on previous live streams, people were getting a little bit upset by it and saying it's too much, there's too much pressure. And I don't want it to be like that. And I really don't think it will be. The fast clock is really, there's going to be a lot of time. It's not a super busy railroad. There's only a couple meets that happen. Now, when we throw some extras in, it's going to make it a little more complicated. But to be honest, the fast clock is really there just for people to know when to show up to work. So you're in the crew lounge, you know that your train's leaving at, let's say, 9 a.m. I want them to show up for work at 8 a.m. So that means having the engine out ready, the train put together, brake tests and everything done, safety checks, all that jazz. Call into the dispatcher. So there's lots of time. It's not supposed to be pressure. And like I said, the wave freights, they're not really, they just got to get out of the way. So they need to be aware of what's coming at them and what's coming behind them. But it's really there just for them to get out of the way. So I'm trying to make it, not too complicated. Digger saying, say hello to your daughter from the British Isles, Vinny. Oh, Vinny's taking off. Sorry, Vinny, I missed that. And I missed it. Buck's in here as well. So hi, Buck. How you doing, buddy? So it was really nice to meet Buck. And it's funny, Buck, since you and I talked Friday evening at Steamtown, I've made a couple little changes with the railroad. All right, John, model railer, it's so good to see you, man. And like I said, it was such a great time. I hope you saw the shout out I did to you last night. I had an absolute blast with you guys. It was so much fun. So anyways, I'll fill you guys in a little bit. Just Buck and I were talking about two-level layouts. And we're talking about the distance in between. I said the issue is I want to have about 14 inches of viewing space at least. Now there's a problem with that because I also need, I want to have a decent sized fascia board. I like having a decent sized fascia board to give me room for contouring, the land and everything. But I also have, they're not going to be too busy, but I'm also going to have some decent size control panels. So I have to have a decent fascia. So it's quite a distance. By the time you add the 14 to 16 inches plus, let's say at least 9 inches for the fascia board. It's quite a difference for what the helix is going to have to go up. The big problem was the computer. I was really focused on putting the computer in that one room, in the one corner, and that was kind of basically telling how high the entire layout was going to be, and it was pushing the top level almost too high, uncomfortable even for me. So what I've done, I've decided that the computer, so where you guys are going to see the live streams from, is going to be, I should have had the picture on here, but I don't have it, of the track plan. It's going to be right at the Owen Sound agent's desk. So it's all going to be together. So it'll kind of work better because the computer will be there with the fast clock as well, even though it's also on the throttles. But it'll be there. It's kind of, and I can also get, I think I was telling you guys I'm doing sound control and everything, or sound system. Everything will be there. It'll be easier to get it over to the layout and wire it. So the only thing with that, I said the live stream would be in the basement in the next month or two. That's probably not going to happen because that's going to be the last leg of construction. What I'm doing, I'm pretty well ready to start taping the main room, which was where the computer was going to be. But what I'm doing is I'm doing the main room, putting plastic across where Owen Sound is, tearing that down, then taping the Owen Sound part. So it's kind of the last leg. That's where the computer will be. So it'll be a little while until I'm doing the live stream from down there. But stay tuned. You guys will see. I'm going to come out with the first layout update video very short or very soon. And it'll all make sense then, because you guys haven't really seen the basement. I just kind of showed clips of here and there. You kind of got to get the whole picture to understand the electrical, how the bus wire is going. Like the bus line's got to go over top through the ceiling and down, and I'll explain it all on there so it makes sense. So Container Man's asking me, the old time grain elevators are about 12 to 16 inches. Yeah, to be honest, Roy, that's actually about right. If I remember, because I did some mock-ups. With those, I have to scale it down because it's so massive. So what I'm doing is kind of like a ratio. So the width to everything, it's kind of like a width to height thing that I'm doing off photographs. And when I did it, it was about, I believe, about 14 inches, the grain elevators. Now they're on the top shelf, so that doesn't matter. They can be as high as I want, because I believe the silos are about 14 inches. And then there's one tower that's quite a bit higher. I would guess it'd be about 18 inches. They're pretty big. Randy's saying there's extra hands if available. I might put you to work taping, Randy. I don't like taping. It's a pain. Hey, Dave's popped in. Thanks, Dave. Crooked River and Eastern, guys. And Dave, once again, thank you so much for taking over Tom's spot. You've been doing such a great job. I think everybody's really liking it and loving your show. It's so nice to see your layout on there. It's such a beautiful layout. It's really exciting. So once again, thanks so much. Alex, how are you, buddy? I didn't know you followed me here, so that's pretty cool. I also saw Alex at Steamtown. Wilmer and I got a good clip of Alex when he's getting his shirt signed by Sparky. If you guys saw that Steamtown video. So really good channel. Wilmer really likes Alex and has done some shout outs for him. So really cool guy. So thanks for being on here, Alex. There's Digger. How's it going, Digger? I don't think I said hi to you. And there's Jerry. There's a few people I've been yapping on and talking. So yeah, this always happens to me. I knew it's because it's hard to, like, I can't really script this stuff, so I knew this was going to be kind of all over the place, and so there's some things I didn't get to show you, but as we go, it'll make more sense. I hope it kind of makes sense to you guys. But like I said, I'll do some actual videos on it. And like I said, go over and check out Trevor Marshall's blog. Really awesome. And check out his YouTube channel, because he actually doesn't have a lot of followers on there. I think because he's so busy with the magazine side. He seems like a really busy guy, but man, you'll see why I look up to him, and you'll see, like, with my modeling, what I'm kind of, he's got a very similar idea to what I'm going for. He's doing Port Rowan, and that Port Rowan yard looks very much like Wyerton. It's very similar turntable and everything. All right, so Nathan's asking me, will there be any other railroads connecting to your railroad on the layout? Yeah, Nathan, Canadian Pacific. Canadian Pacific. Now, it's too bad because the Canadian Pacific side's amazing too. There's a ton of industry over on that's on the east side of Owen Sound. That's where my father's fuel company was and everything. And there's all kinds of coal companies, and there was a shipbuilding company, and there was a stove building company. So all that stuff will be able to interchange. And it's a cool interchange too, because it's an interchange with a bridge, and it's going to have a working grade crossing and everything. It goes down an alley and back, but I can't get a whole lot of it. I can only fit about, 2 tracks of CP, and it's only going to be about 4 feet, something like that. It's just basically going to be pulling cars off, bringing them over, and putting cars back in, if that makes sense. Very simple operation there, but it'll be effective. So we've got grain cars that have to come from CP, and then all the industries on the east side that would happen, and everything that would get interchanged, because it's the only spot in the area where CP and CN could interchange with each other. Andy saying, Trevor Site has an awesome, accomplishable model railroad plans and links to others. Very good stuff. That's true, Andy. And the funny thing is, he has a railroad plan, a track plan of Wyerton, which is kind of interesting, mine's more just staging for Wyerton, but he's actually done the town, which is really cool because a lot of people haven't heard of it, unless you've heard of Wyerton Willie. But that's where my mom's from. She wasn't born there, but she grew up there, and so I have a really strong connection with Wyerton, so it's a big part of my railroad. And continuing, you're asking the grain cars or box cars. Yeah, Roy, remember we were talking about that, it was a few shows ago, and you were actually, I forgot to give you credit for that, because Roy was asking how they got the grain out of the box cars, and he was saying the tube, and I was talking about the boards getting knocked out, and Sparky was saying that too, but he's right too, and that's a big part. How I could never figure that out, how they got the grain off the ships, and it actually is, it's still there, it still works. It's this huge tube, it's a huge vacuum. It's got to be, I don't know, it's 20 stories high. So, like, it's massive, this tube that goes all the way up to the top of the grain elevators. So yeah, Roy, I never gave you credit for that, and thanked you for that, because I did see it later on when I watched the replay, and I never brought that up. So Roy was right. A question was, how did they get the grain out? And I was trying to think, and we were both saying, like, they would knock the boards out and the grain would kind of fall out. But then Roy also brought up the tube thing, and at the grain elevators they did have the tube. All right, guys, so I think I'm going to call that a night. I've got 8:02 here, so I just wanted to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I hope I didn't bore you to death. I hope that made sense. I know it was a little rough getting through that, and we'll redo the way bill. I'll probably still use that because it kind of means a lot to me. I wanted to do that together with you guys, because that's going to be an official way bill on the OSCNR, and that's the first one. So thanks to the carver for his help on that. But I'll take a look at it. Maybe I'll spruce it up a little bit. So anyways, thanks guys. Have a good night. Make sure you check out Nancy's PayPal account there and get in on the raffle and get in on Roy's contest. We will talk to you guys later. Have a good night. See you later. Bye-bye.